Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Israelites. I never knew I could feel like this, cause I never seen a more beautiful day like this. No, not Easter and not Christmas, just the holy days written in the scriptures. Cause Santa Claus make the good boys do folly. How we coming through the projects, dog? Through the lobby? I'm too old, bro. Why you playing tricks for? He a thief like brother man from the fifth floor. They keep knocking, but I ain't letting them in. The philosophies, hypocrisies, traditions of men. I keep the holy days, giving gifts to feast of Purim. They cut a tree in the forest and they trick us to sin.
All right.
I got a question. I wonder who could stump it. What happened to the
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom.
Or the Pentecost? Are people very lost?
It's good to see our extended family growing by the day. I want to make sure before we begin, you can all see and hear us clearly. Yes? All right. We're going to go right into it, and then we're going to pass it over to the brethren for festivity. So if you have something to say in between, as far as testimonies and what this truth has done for you, or what impact the Most High have in your life, this is the day for it. Now, most people ask, well, is Purim a high holy day or a Sabbath? I've had a few people ask me that question. Well, it's a memorial. That's what it is. It's a time to remember. It's a serious time where the Most High saved our people, and he says it would be for a memorial. So technically, it's not a quote-unquote Sabbath. It is a memorial to remember. All right? So there's a few things we're going to go over, and I'll answer a lot of your questions also. How you doing? Man. Okay, first of all, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshaya, sundown. For those who are on this side of the earth, it's Purim. We're going to go over the scriptures concerning the Purim. And there's a few, I would say, how you doing, Rawchaa? Man, I miss y'all, brothers and sisters, man. Anyway, good to see you. We're going to go over the lesson, and we're going to also pick it up from where we left off last week. Just the other day. In giving you, brothers and sisters, the direction of the church, how we'll be going forward after meeting with the elders and deacons and brothers within the congregation last night. What you can all expect going forward. All right? And also, this is not powered up. This cord here. Make sure this cord is powered up. Right? So first off, Elder Lawya, you have your mic, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'll answer any questions you have. I know you might have soup in front of you, so that can actually help your appetite in between the feast and the meal. Okay? What I'll do is we'll go through what Purim is, according to the Most High. Okay? I'll talk in depth of what that means for us today. The world, the pagans. Some people don't have no, they're ignorant to the fact that they're pagans, but pagans celebrate Christmas. The children of Israel, God's people, and those who would like to follow the law of the Jews first and also the Gentiles, follow Purim. Now, some would suggest that following holy days or memorials contained in the Old Testament is strictly for the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. Some would believe that, not knowing proper history which predates Christ. One would believe that after Christ, the other nations could now, through Christ, they could now follow the holy days. Well, they're ignorant to history. Because why? There was Gentile conversions in the Old Testament, where the Gentiles left off from following paganism and began to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? It's written of in Scripture, and it's also written of in secular history, like the Josephus. Okay? So let me tell you, when everything is said and done, when Christ returns, when our kingdom returns, there will be no paganism. There will be no worships of many gods. Only one God will be worshipped, and his name is Lawya. And there's only one king that will be reverenced, and that's our king, the son of David, who will inherit the throne of David. And believe it or not, he already have it in heaven. Yeshua, the Savior, is his name. Now when he returns, he's going to return a name that the Most High will give him right before he come back to our plan. But all in all, let's go into, and I'll answer a few questions, because I know a lot of you brothers and sisters would like to know what's the direction of the church, especially here in Europe and England, going forward. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to see, through the Spirit of the Most High, a drastic change in all of our participation within the work of the Most High. Right? We're going to see a drastic change. Some people would like to know, well, what can I do other than what I've been doing outside of just learning Scripture? What is my place? What is my reward? Where is my work? Well, you'll know today. Okay? So today is a gift for all of us. Chapter and verse, Elder Lawya. Let's read what is Purim.
We'll start in the book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 1.
Now, before you go, just want to make sure, even the brothers and sisters in the back, you all can hear us loud and clear, correct? Okay, all praises be to the Most High. All right. This is yours. All right. You know what I said? You know what? I'm going to be using this here. We've got so used to the technology. Let's open the book. Hold up 1 second here. Book of Esther here. Chapter and verse, go on.
The book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Now, what's his name again? Give it to me again.
Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
The what?
The Agagite.
Okay, for those of you who have learned amongst us, who was the Agagite? Huh? No, let one of the brothers back there answer. You should know already. Who was Agagite? Who was the Agagites? Huh? Sons of who? Okay, what nation? What nation was the Agagites? Come on. See that? You ain't in that academy, is you? He was talking about, you know, I took it years ago. I was in the, let me tell you, something come out every time. It's never the same. Agag was the king that the Most High told through Samuel. He told Saul to destroy, right? Y'all know that. Exactly. So Agag had a lineage. Agag was a son of Amalek, the heir to Esau's or Edom's power on earth. So Agag had a lineage all the way up into the Persian Empire. So when you see Agagite, that term is letting you know this is a stranger from Agag living in Persia. Right? So he's an Edomite, full blood. Part Nephilim blood, part Abraham's blood. Okay? Now, Agag has an axe to grind. He has an axe to grind against the children of the Most High. What is his axe? Well, he felt that the promise and the blessings were stolen from him. And he felt at that time, and a lot of them still feel, that the power of this earth belongs to them according to inheritance. Him being the firstborn. So in every society, when our people were serving, even before the Greeks and Romans came on the scene, you had one of the children of Amalek or Esau gain power and authority as a high counselor in these empires. In an attempt to have the emperors or the kings at that time turn on the children of God or eradicate them all together. All right? So that's just plain history. Most people in this earth are ignorant to why there's wars, why there's jealousy, hatred, variances. Well, it all comes down to an age-old promise that was given to a people, a promise unfulfilled. Now the bad thing about this, being the children of the Most High, or children of God according to prophecy, you're going to suffer some of the curses or the blunt of being on the bad end of these prophecies. That's the bad part. The good part, and I love this part, is that time is up. It's a changing of the guard. Part of our captivity was not understanding ourselves. The Most High is now freeing his people. And through that, and I'm going to say this, and it leads directly into this particular lesson. Through this comes an unfamiliar responsibility. Right? When I say unfamiliar, we're not used to knowing what it takes to lead. It's just, we just inherently lost that attribute, being in servitude so long. But it's time. Right? So here's Agag and the Agagite. He links in with the Persians, who are the modern day Iranians, and become what you would call the hand to the king. Right? Go on.
The book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence him.
So Mordecai was what? He was a prophet of the Most High. He was a man of high stature during the time of our servitude in Persia or Iran in the Middle East. Go on.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman, to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence him, then was Haman full of wrath.
The example of that would be, you have a new government, a new system in place, right? And there's an influential brother of power with the people. Now, in order to get the people to acquiesce to government, they would need to know that this prophet or this influential man was on board. So he says, listen, we all bow to the laws of this land and to the power of this king. Why don't you? Now, I don't know what example y'all have here, but we have examples all throughout the United States of influential leaders who acquiesced or compromised. Instead of doing what Mordecai said, well, listen, I'm not bowing to this. I can serve righteously in this land and not break the commandments of my God. I can do both. Because all laws within the earth come from the Noahic law, which means there were natural laws after Noah that went throughout the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth that embodies, that's a part of the 12 commandments. So I can follow all the laws in every empire and still follow my God laws and not be breaking your law. You understand? So why should I compromise? Which means, yes, there were holy days in Persia before we got here. We know the gods you worship here in Iran and in the Middle East, in Persian mythology and all that before we got here. But we serve a different God. We know that you celebrate this God on that day or that day. But that's your culture. Okay? We don't do that. This is what Haman was forcing us to compromise to. That we would release the laws, statutes, and commandments of the God that made us and saved us. As you can see today, eventually, it's beyond compromise. Obviously, what Haman tried to do was accomplished systematically with us losing ourselves from one generation to the next. Right? We celebrate things today and have no idea why. Like, for instance, why do we celebrate Christmas? Because someone told us Christ was born on December 25th. When there is no date of Christ being born within the Bible. Come to find out, it's ancient and Babylonian. Similar to what they wanted us to bow to in these ancient religions. Right? Babylonian. So let's go into it. Come on.
Verse 6.
Come on.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is, the month Nisan, in the 12th month of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day and from month to month. To the 12th month, that is the month Adar.
To the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. Now we know the 12th month is the month we're in now. Next month is what? Passover. That's the first month of the year, which going into March, right? So the 12th month is not even December. They switched that. So this is what the pagans did in our modern time. They infused two separate, what you would call Judaic holy days, and made it into one holy day within our modern day pagan Babylonian system. Right? Just like when you look at Hanukkah, it says the 10th month and the 25th day. Right? So they got the 25th day from there, and they got the 12th month from Purim. And said December 25th. They fused two and made Christmas. Right? The giving of gifts. Now to show you how much of a stronghold they have on us with these so-called holy days today. Right? The majority of us who step back from Christmas and Easter, step back from Christmas, and what your family say? Your family says, well, listen, this is about family. We know that Christ probably wasn't born December 25th. But why can't we just come together strictly for the family as a tradition? Right? Your children will be left out. You're dealing with a cult. Right? To show you how hypocritical and evil that is. Right? We celebrate a day in which we can give gifts. The difference is, the day we celebrate is actually in the Bible. This is how hypocritical they are. They'll make you feel a certain type of way about what you're worshiping and what day you're worshiping on. But you don't hear them coming down on Muslims for not celebrating Christmas. Why? How can they accept Muslims denying Christmas, but not those who believe in Christ? So it's not even about the children and the gifts. It's a higher power. They want us to participate with this blood sacrifice and rituals and evil that comes with that day. A lot of evil goes on the same time they operate in December 25th. And they need your participation. They need your spirit within their rituals. Today is the Most High's day in which he says it's a memorial. We can give gifts based on something that actually happened. That means something. It's one thing to be dealing with December 25th and be totally detached from what it is. Okay, it's not Christ. It's not Jesus like you lied about. He had nothing to do with the tree. He had nothing to do with you bowing and giving gifts. Right? Now, this is something we can teach our children and say, well, listen, this day, the 12th month, is a memorial written of in Scripture. I don't have to try to excuse it all or to say, well, it's just something we do or just a tradition. We can show our children, listen, this is a memorial for the day the Most High saved our people from the hands of our enemies. And because of this, the Most High said, make a memorial, and then they did what? In celebration and thanking the Most High for saving us. We gave gifts. Now the gifts have some significant cultural meaning to us, opposed to it just being a pagan day to actually level off or fulfill their pagan fiscal quarter of the year. Their last quarter in their fiscal quarter is all wrapped up in the economy of what they'll do Christmas and New Year's. You understand? So now we can teach our children, yes, guess what? We're not leaving you out. You get your gifts on Purim. And if you train up a child the way they should go, when they are of age, they should not depart from it. They'll be looking forward to what? Purim instead of Christmas. Your children are asked, well, what am I getting for Purim? Mommy, Daddy, why do we celebrate Purim? And you say, well, listen, Haman, the Agagite that got away, he reared his head while we were in the Persian Empire. We were minding our business and following the laws. And this guy planned to kill us all. Our God knew. He helped us. And when we seen the downfall of those who tried to destroy us, and we seen the same God who saved us through the Red Sea, he helped us in our time of need. When that happened, we gave gifts. So this is not just a gift. This is a memorial to remember that if it wasn't for the Most High saving us at this time under the Persian Empire, son or daughter, there would be no gifts to give you today. Now see, that's something of significance. That's something a child can teach to their children. Right? That's something a child can be proud of. And in an unbelieving world, it will instill the love of the Most High God in them. Right? Come on, Elder Lawya.
Verse 8.
You might.
Verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people, in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them.
Now, is he telling the full truth here? No. Because I'm sure the king's laws had laws like, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal. I'm sure there was laws implemented within the Persian Empire that forbade immorality and evil. It's just that we didn't agree with worshiping their gods. That's the only issue. But as far as morality and treating people like they should be treated, there was no better people to be in your empire than the children of the Most High. Okay? There was no better people. So it wasn't that we weren't following the laws. We were lawful people. Okay? It wasn't that. They was upset because why? They weren't getting power over us with our celebration of their holy days in Persia. Now the king of Persia was fine with it until the Agagites showed up. Said, well, if I can bow, why can't they? Read.
Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
So don't tell me there's no spiritual, no power that the nations, don't tell me they don't receive power by people celebrating these holy days. They receive something if this guy's going to pay out mercenaries to kill us off for not celebrating them. So you can't say that holidays are just something that people do for tradition. There's some spiritual implication and power that's attached to those who are celebrating and honoring and reverencing these gods. They get something if they can get you to follow these holy days. They gain power. Okay, so when they say it's just a day, they're lying to you. It's not just a day. To prove that, why couldn't they just allow us to continue to follow what we were following? It's like, no, we need to pay mercenaries, kill them all. If they don't want to celebrate our holy days, why? Because if we celebrate their holy days, by default, the Most High, our God, who gave us the commandments, will stay at war with us. And as long as He at war with us, we're under the curse. As long as we're under the curse, the people we are enslaved under rule. Common sense. Common sense. What is a telltale sign that someone is separating from their programming or waking up from their programming asleep? The telltale sign is when you stop following what? Holidays. That's when everyone around you start looking at you as if you're something strange or different. No one is paying attention when you were just in the world, doing what you was doing. You were just like one of the sheep. But no sooner as you found out that none of what you're celebrating was in the Bible, and you begin to question it, everyone that you thought wasn't paying attention are looking at you now. There's something that goes on spiritually. It's like a metamorphosis that goes on when one hears the truth. It's like everyone stop and look and say, hold up, what's going on? This person is different. They're changing. So the telltale sign of waking up from your sleep comes with you breaking from these holy days. That's part of your sleep. That's a tell sign where they can all look together and say, okay, we have one who now that we know can see. He's asking questions. She's asking questions. Why question anything? Follow, obey. Right? So Haman said, well, listen. They don't want to listen. They don't want to follow. They don't want to bow. Open your treasure. I'll pay mercenaries. We'll number them and kill them all. Go on.
Verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. Verse 11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month. And there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people, of every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, and the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, that is, the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given to Shushan and Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed.
Go on.
Jumping over to chapter 7, verse 1.
You get to what he says, number. We're talking about the census. Yeah, I need you to go straight there. One moment. We had to decree the number.
I'll read again verse 12. It says, chapter 3, verse 12. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month. And there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. And the name of the king Ahasuerus was written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Go to the 7th chapter, that's fine.
Chapter 7, verse 1.
So what's this here? So eventually what was going on here is he started to do what? A census. He wanted them to go out and number all of the people so they'll know exactly what to do to wipe them out. So a census is when someone come around and ask you, well, how many people in your home? How many more children are you having? See, and they tell you the Most High told David, it's against, what's this?
I need a battery. I need to change these batteries.
Yeah. The Most High told David that it's against the law to number the children of Israel. Why? If you number them, then what? You can do what? You can war against them. You can plan war against them. So when they come to your house and ask you how many people are in your house and all that, and they claim that it's to know how much money or subsidies to give a certain area that can help you, they're lying. Why? Because they're numbering you and they're pulling back everything through austerity. So I thought you were numbering me to help me out. Why are you now drying up the little finances I am receiving and still numbering me? No. It's the plan to do what? Depopulate. Now this is why they don't want you to read the Old Testament in the Bible. Because the Bible gives you the plans of all the societies and all of the programs of eugenics and all that was in the Old Testament. How Pharaoh, seeing that we were growing strong, and he feared that we would join to another army. So he said, listen, let's kill off the man-child and let the woman, the woman-child live. Right?
I need a better cord.
Let the woman-child live. Okay, what was that? That is what you would call modern day abortion. Okay? So they don't want you to read the Old Testament. They'll just tell you in church, it's all about Jesus and love. Don't read, that's nothing but crazy stuff and bad stuff back there. We're under the new covenant now. Realizing that it's identifying what have systematically been done to us from generation to generation. They don't want us to see the programs of the former kingdoms against the children of God. Why? It'll become familiar to you. You'll start to believe and understand that, hold up, these people that they did this to, it seems like I can relate to them. It seems as if they're doing the same thing to me. That's one of the reasons that they felt a certain type of way when Nat Turner started reading the Old Testament. Okay? He started seeing, you see that movie, Nat Turner? Nat. Whoever didn't see that movie, you need to go see that movie. All the scriptures he was going to was concerning the conspiracy of what Amalek had against us. Like the guy here. Okay? And that the Most High said, utterly destroy Amalek. Knowing his plan to what? Exterminate the children of the Most High God.
You changed it?
Yeah. Right? So they started numbering our people. For what? Mass extermination. Right? Now corporations do that today. I'm going to jump right back into it, but I'm going to show you how they do it. Corporations do these things till this day, and they do it through what? Reconnaissance and also metrics. They find out what we like in a particular condensed area, what we're purchasing, and they look and see that number spike and say, well, this is what they like. Okay, you put the poison in that. It's no different than setting a trap for a rat or a mice. Alright? You put on the trap exactly what you know they'll like. Put a little peanut butter on it or something like that. Yeah, you know exactly what they'll draw to. So they do it through corporate extermination now.
Right. 2. That's the mute right there. 2. Yeah, you hit that button too. That mutes it. And you can change it now.
Alright?
You change it? Yeah.
Alright. So this is what's going on. This is what they were planning to do to us in Persia. Now, the Iranians at that time, the Persians, they really didn't have no problem with us. You understand? It wasn't until Agag came on the scene and materialized the problem.
Right.
That's when they say, you know what? Yeah, why don't they buy?
Yes, sir. This is the book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 1. Yes, sir. This is the book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 1. So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther the second day at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request?
So this is a sister now. Right? We talking about the power of the Most High's anointed, virtuous sisters. She got in a place where men couldn't get. Strictly off of her what? Her piety, her virtue, and also her smarts and beauty. That's power. Right? Come on.
What is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please thee, let my life be given at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, and I am my people. Or Salakia, for we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish.
There's a plan to destroy us. Read.
But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Queen Esther the queen, Who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, The adversary and enemy is the wicked king Haman. Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed wherein Esther was. Then said the king, Will he force the queen also before me in the house? As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, Behold also, the gallows 50 cubits high which Haman made for Mordecai, who had made good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, Hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Justice. And guess who brought that justice? Guess who brought it? Guess who came in the spirit of the Most High and it did the king's heart to do this? Sister Esther. Right? And the Most High said, well, listen, we're going to make sure that this story is mentioned as a memorial. Okay? And I'm going to say this. After years of operating in the truth, the circumcision, the truth of the Most High, you understand? It's a shame how sisters in their power is overlooked. You're not going to get out of your condition. We're not going to get out of our condition by ourselves. We act as if they didn't go into captivity and servitude with us. Like they didn't go through anything. You have to understand. The Most High says the image of the Most High is male and female. Okay? There's a sister right here who saved our lives. Okay? So we're going to give it up today in the spirit of the Most High for sending Sister Esther. Come on.
If I can add also, going into the story, and I pray that you all go back and read the full story because it's a lot of good information as far as the ultimate gift that Esther gave for the sake of the nation. If you remember, at this time, she's queen, and she had a position, a high position in the Persian society. So in her putting her life on the line, she did it in a way in which, if it didn't go right, then not only would her people be destroyed, but also herself. So she gave the ultimate sacrifice. Like Christ said, no greater love is than one that will lay down his life for his friends. And she did it for the whole nation. So.
Right on point. So come on.
Gotcha. Chapter 8.
The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 1. And on that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman to the Jews, enemy unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king for Esther, and told him what he was unto her. Verse 2. And the king took off his robe which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. Verse 3. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, excuse me, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Verse 4. Then the king held out his golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Amminadab, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's province. Verse 6.
Now it's like, you have to realize these provinces is like, just say if some people on one side of town in Manchester, another person on one, every place that we were gathered, okay, together, in an area, there was a different decree based on the numbers of those areas. So she said, listen, it's not just one thing here. We have to make sure all of these commands are drawn back, or our people are going to die over here or die over there. Read.
Verse 6. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come upon my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Verse 7. Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Verse 8. Write you also for the Jews, as I like it you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse. Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is, the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and the deputies, and the rulers of the province, which are from India unto Ethiopia.
From India to Ethiopia. Now check that out. That's how far the
provinces were. From India to Ethiopia. They want to kill us all off in the Middle East. Right? Now, if you look at this geographically, these are a lot of the areas that they're trying to stop what you would call flight from, to and fro within the United States. Some of these areas they're calling terrorist areas, but these are areas where the Most High's people are dispersed. And they want to make sure that a lot of our people don't go back into those particular areas. But go on.
Let me start over here from here. Provinces which are from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language. Verse 10. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and said, Let us by post on horseback, and riders, mules, camels, and young dromedaries. Verse 11. wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the poor of the people and the province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. Verse 12. And just to add, they had to do this. This is the law. The king had to pass the law. Had he not done that, they would have destroyed them. They would have killed them. Verse 12. Upon one day in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against the day to avenge themselves on their enemies. Verse 14. So the post that rode upon the mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment, and decree was given at Shushan the palace.
Go on.
Verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. A lot of us can look at that tonight. Okay? And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. Verse 17. And in every province and in every city, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
Now check that out. This was before Christ. Many people who were pagans and operating with polytheism began to follow the God of Israel back then. Now look how the Most High turned that around. Okay, Haman sent out a decree to kill us all off because we didn't follow their worships and their holy days. And in reverse of that, not only did the Most High save us, through the power of saving us, he converts them. He converts them. And I'm going to tell you right now, that power didn't stop. That power didn't stop. Just that men who received the Most High's word and some people who receive the Most High word can get in the way. If we show our power and what the Most High has given us through this truth, through the love of the Most High and power of the Most High, all nations who are right, who have a heart towards the Most High, will turn towards the true God of Israel. Come on.
I'm going to jump on to the 17th chapter.
Yes, let's get right to it. Yeah.
The book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 17. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Verse 18. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and a day, and of sending portions one to another. Verse 20.
That's the giving of gifts. Come on.
And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both near and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same yearly. As the days written, the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feastings and joy, of sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor.
See that? And looking out for those who are without. See, that's where your modern day powers use that day to do what? Give to the less fortunate, what they call Christmas. They're just mimicking a holy day within the Bible, where they'll have Salvation Army and you give money to the poor, or at the end of the year, your boss give you a bonus or give you an extra little something at the end. They got all that from this holy day without telling you it was your holy day. Right? Come on, Elder God.
Verse 22.
Come on.
As the days wherein the Jews, sorry, let me jump down. I read that for verse 23. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman, the son of Amminadab, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and to cast pur, that is the lot, to consume them, and to destroy them. Verse 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Verse 26. Wherefore they call these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took it upon them and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them.
See that? So this is a holy day for the Most High seed, which is the 12 tribes of Israel, and the Gentiles who joined themselves unto Israel. This was a holy day before Christ. And see, I'm going to tell you, it's the more I learn of Christ and read of Christ, I realize the fulfillment of Christ is in the Old Testament. It always was. The New Testament was written after Christ. But all that Christ embodied was in the Old Testament. Even the law of strangers when we came out of Egypt amongst the Gentiles. It was always meant that all nations on the earth would eventually serve the living God. Okay? Just that time got in the way. Why? The fall of the light. We were supposed to be God's people and a light to the world. So by default, the world went into chaos. We fell, and the whole world went to chaos. It became an earth without law. And in the world, the Gentiles just followed what they were shown. They didn't know any better to a lot of degrees. They just followed what they thought was correct. Until what? Until the light would come. Until Christ would come. And then he would set up his people to be a light to the world. Right? Come on.
Verse 27. The Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year. Verse 28. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Read it again.
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Come on.
Every family, every province, every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed. Verse 29. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai, the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm the second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, with words of peace and truth. Verse 31. To confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed, the matters of the fastings and their cry. Verse 32. And the decree of Esther confirms these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
And it was written in the book. What book? The Bible. That's the book the Most High had translated for us in a new tongue to understand. Right? So that we can then begin to follow the paths of our forefathers. The righteousness that came with being children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now you notice it said that Purim would be a memorial, right? And that we would remember it and deal with it from generation to generation at a fixed time from year to year. Right? Now let me break down what a fixed time is. A fixed time means it's on the same day every year from one year to the next. Which means, like we have Monday, we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Right? Now we know the days were numbered not after the sun, which is Sunday. Right? The moon, which is Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. These are all first and fourth. These are all pagan days given, pagan names given to what? Days that were named after numbers. You see in the Bible where it says, well, the 12th month, the 13th day. Well, guess what? That 13th day fall the same day next year. Like for instance, right? Today is what? According to their names. Today is Wednesday, right? Wednesday sundown, right? Well, we know that Purim every year will fall where? On a Wednesday. You see how confusing things are? Where each year your birthday and all that, your birthday may fall on a Monday this year, a Wednesday next year, a Friday another year. How confusing that is? Why? Because we as a people, or as the earth, because even the sons of Noah had the cycles of days. We have lost the 364 day calendar. If we follow the Sabbaths, 52 Sabbaths, every day from year to year falls at a fixed time. The Passover is always on what? On the 14th day of the first month. Right? Always. The first Sabbath is the seventh day of the year. The second Sabbath is what? The Passover. Right? We know that it's equal parts night and equal parts day for the last day of the year. Right? So each year, the holy day or the new moon or new month falls when? Falls when?
On the first day of the week.
On the first day of, no. On the last day of the year is what? A what?
Sunday.
A Sabbath.
Sabbath, yes.
Here we go. So you got to know if you're going to show other people. Right? The last day of the year, equal parts night and day, is always what? A Sabbath. And exactly. After it's equal parts night and equal parts day, then you have what? The first day of the year. Right? So each first day of the year always fall when? Hold up now. Saturday sundown to Sunday sundown is what? The first day of the year. You got it? The year always end on a what? Sabbath. The year always start on a what? On the first day. You got it? So the Sabbath, the last day of the year, Sabbath, is equal parts night, equal parts day. You got it? Now, I see that a lot of people need to be on point with that. So, through the Spirit of the Most High, we have the calendars that are right on point where you can see the holy days and they all fall on a fixed time each year. Right? You got it? Now, does anyone have any questions concerning that or the holy day before I go on to my next point? No? Okay.
Here you go.
All right. Okay. So this is how we're going to do things going forward before we go into the feast. We talked about it, and I figured that we would mention this so that you will hold us to task with the work here in England going forward. Right? We're setting up an administration within the church according to the scriptures. Elders, deacons, teachers, assistants. Sisters going to also be a part of the administration. We're going to have a class that will teach you certain skill set within the work. You would bring your ministry within the work and do the work within the work. No more separate thing where everyone don't know what's going on. No. We got to build here now. So the first thing is first. When I sat with the brothers last night, I didn't say, well, listen, this is what it's going to be. I sat back at a table and I said, well, okay, you all tell me what you need to do this work. What would you like to see? What is your goal within this work? What would you like me to do to help you with that? What are your obstacles? So I listened to every brother at the table. And we had a very fruitful and productive discussion. Because it's one thing coming through and saying, well, this is what I think it should happen, without me having foot on the ground daily and understanding what you're going through on a daily basis. So I had to listen and say, well, okay, I see how we can fix this. We're going to have one headquarters. We're going to have a major headquarters where all the elders and deacons, once they go through the teaching program that we're going to have, we will meet there once a month, all leaders, as far as the leadership. I listen to them all. I say, before we do anything though, every elder and deacon in each area must have a meeting with every brother and every sister within the congregation separately. If they're a family, you have to meet with them and ask them, what are your gifts? What would you like to do? How can I help you finish your work within this troop? Because there's so many people with gifts, unannounced, because they weren't asked. And we're sitting here wondering, like, why are we suffering in certain areas? And why don't we have certain people to do certain things when we didn't ask the people, what would you like to do? Right? So every person, every brother and sister that's baptized within the church will have an ear. And like I told them last night, discuss with me what you would like to do. There is no right or wrong. There is no reprimand. There is no argument here. Let me hear what you feel you're being held back from. Let me hear it, so we can do it. So I told them when we leave, first you set these meetings first, because it's about feeding the flock and understanding what the people need first. We can't plan anything unless we know who we have working in the vineyard and who's ready to work. And then we can plan accordingly. Right? So the plan is eventually we're going to have a building here that everyone can chip in, and within the building will be operations. Okay? Everyone is talking about what's going on, the austerity and all that. Listen, there's things we can do within ourselves to sustain. So, hey, we did it in New York. We got sewing machines. We got departments. We instead of paying for an overhead with this brother over here suffering and this sister over here suffering, why can't it all be under one roof? And we work under one roof. If there's studio music in there, why can't we do it there? If people need garments, why can't we clothe everyone? And then employ brothers and sisters that are doing it. Now it's not looking on the outside. We're building from within and seeing that we can be self-sufficient and operate as an example. Invest in each other. So no more talking about it, right? Let's just do it. So there's no excuses. Christ said a nation divided against itself cannot stand. And everyone is operating, and there's no blame here, but this is how we've been taught to operate. We've been operating as individuals when we are a body. Right? So it's time for us to get in front of the issues instead of saying, well, look at this issue here that's sticking out here. It's so bad when it could have been solved by us being a body operating at the same time. So we have to have that open doors policy amongst us so that no matter what the issue is, we can discuss. And know that, hey, maybe we can't solve all the ills at one time, but at least we're listening and we can, okay, I don't know if we can do that right now, but we can definitely do this. Right? Now I'm going to open it up for questions, then festivities. Last piece real quick. Right? On the way here, the Most High gave me a thought. And I said, well, hurry up, give me something so I can write this down. Right? So I'll put it here and I'm going to share this with you. You notice how everyone everywhere has an opinion on what's right, what's wrong. Right? Have an opinion on how is it they do it this way when they should be doing it this way according to the Most High. Why can't we all get together even though we believe the same things? Right? Why is there so much division in those who call themselves to be the elect of Christ and the Most High? Right? So something came to me and I wrote it down. And it's within Scripture. And I'm going to get the 10 Commandments out of there real quick in Exodus. Right? The other day we were teaching and we was going into a royal priesthood. How, I don't know how many people's brothers and sisters seen that. But in that teaching of a royal priesthood, we discussed how through a curse that we become a systematic curse to ourselves by accepting anything lower than royalty. Anything less than royalty is captivity. The Most High said that we, his elect, his people, will be what? A royal priesthood. So it don't start and stop with us just reading a few scriptures. If it's not shown as an example, a real example, with how we operate within ourselves and how we carry ourselves. And I was talking about that royal priesthood. Now some people may think to be a priest or a royal king or queen that this world may call what? They may think stuck up, subdued. No, that's pride. We're not talking about pride here. We talk about taking self-inventory of yourself spiritually. So when the Most High, through Christ, had us go through that path of baptism, it was a cleanse. And that cleanse can represent all areas of our life. If we're saying we're born again. Right? And he says those who go back into what they used to be is like a dog going to his own vomit. That's what Christ said. So when that cleansing comes and you're that new man or you're that new woman, a change is supposed to happen through self-observation. That's even on the outside. That can actually be on the outside of us. That same thing that people can't immediately witness. Why? A king or queen is clean at all times. Their surroundings, doesn't matter how much money you have or whether or not you have a big house or little house. When someone comes into your abode, it's in order. Your children are in order. Okay? Everything. When you go outside, your stoop, where you are, it represents you. And it emanates from the outside of you. Okay? Either you're going to influence the environment or the environment will influence you. There's no in between. And some of us didn't notice that we were suppressed due to these.
Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind. But thou shalt fear thy God. I am the Lord. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
See what it said? That means preferential treatment because someone have more. Ignoring the poor for somebody who have it already. Well, the poor needs more attention. Read.
Verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer.
Read it again.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer. Read.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
Among thy people. Why did the Most High put that in the law? How can we execute any level of civility and order and quiet and solitude if this behavior is rampant within a society? Where it's okay to say whatever you would like about another person and think there's no consequence. And guess what? This society, I don't know if it's Facebook or whatever the case is, I hear so many people talking about the law of the Most High and the law of God.
Right.
And how others are not right. But don't even realize that we can participate with the murdering of our own brothers and sisters through character assassination, through sowing a seed of hatred and variance. That's why the Most High put that in the law. He put that in the law so that I can't sit back and cowardice and just talk about someone else without confronting the person that I should be talking with or about. Straight cowardice. People just talking about each other as if the angels are not beholding this and going before the Most High with a report. That's the world we see today. Facebook, online, everybody talking about something. Talebearing. Why? Suppose you take a lie or a false witness and someone begin to act on that lie or false witness.
Exactly.
You didn't mean for it to just to spiral out of control. You didn't mean for it to be almost a death or someone injured or hurt, like sometimes that's where it leads. That's one thing in a righteous society that can't be tolerated from either person, no matter who you are. Talebearer about another person. That means, for those who don't understand what that is, taking information unconfirmed and relaying it to someone else. Because in innocence, a lot of us absolve ourselves because why? You can say, well, I didn't come up with the story. I'm just relaying the story. So now, you're an innocent party because you didn't start it, right? No. You're just as guilty as the person that started it. Where's the dignity and honor that comes with to the person you're talking about? These are some serious ills that are going on and are more rampant and more prevalent now in a society where everyone is dealing on social media. You think you can say what you want to say behind your computer without consequence. We have to be very careful. Listen to what it's saying. Read it.
Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people.
As a talebearer amongst thy people. What's going on? Well, I heard this. Well, I heard that. No, I don't operate like that. When I'm hearing a lot of what people, I'm like, listen, I need the source. I don't want to hear what you're talking about. Where's the source? Who set things up? Who did what? Let me talk to that person. We operate in the spirit of talebearing, and because it's a society regular, we don't even know we operate like that. It's part of, it's just like saying, well, okay, I recognize what not to eat. I recognize what not to follow pagan holy days anymore. But these are the things I have to clean up amongst myself. Do I receive information secondhand from another person and spread it? You understand? You'd be better off, believe it or not doing that. You know, and picking up a pork chop sandwich or something. Because at least you're just defiling yourself and not smearing everyone. Now, I'm not saying, now you know swine is evil, so I'm not saying, because I know people will clip it and they'll do what? They'll tell it. Yeah, go on.
No, just saying also, after that, we as a culture of people like to receive gossip. We love gossiping. And this is an ill of it. This is a direct link to that, why the talebearing goes on amongst us. Because we just gossip and chat for no reason. You understand? When we come together, right now, we coming together and dealing with the scriptures. We're dealing with people business. Business that have nothing to do with us. You understand? So we have to mind our own business and our real. We get further in that way. You understand? And I'm saying that, you know, it's a cultural thing amongst us that we just love sauce. And passa, it goes all over the place. I forgot it out. Yeah?
You get something? Okay.
I just wanted to put that out there. Because the Bible tells you about a whisper that leads to murder. It always starts with just a little bit. It just starts with that. A little bit. And it leads to murder. Character assassination. And this is what happened to Christ. They began to murmur against him. Right? What you have, Elder Lawya?
I'll just finish where we are.
Go on.
Leviticus. The middle of Leviticus 19 and 16.
Come on.
Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor.
See that? Neither shall thy stand against the blood of thy neighbor. Why? This is almost prophetic concerning what happened to Christ. They first talebeared and lied on him. Stirred up the people into a council that led to what? blood. Come on.
Verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
See that? Thou shalt not hate thy brother or thy sister in thine heart. We can't hate each other. We have to love each other. Right? We have to love each other. That's fulfilling the law that Christ was speaking of. Love your neighbor as the Most High love you. We can't say we love the Most High and spread things of hate and seek blood from our own brother or sister, or seek evil towards our own brother and sister. We can't say that. And like I said before, with a curse, do what? Respond with a blessing. I say it over and over again because what? That's what Christ taught. Think about it, brothers and sisters. There's a lot of people everywhere saying things about me. But you know what? If I was to focus on it, it would turn into hatred, variance. I would hate my own brother. I can't do that. I would hate my own sister. I can't do that. So I have to bless them and forgive them regardless. So that I don't make what they're dealing with become the bane of my existence and become unfruitful. You understand? And that's what you have to do. You have to understand that there's a lot of spirits out there. But we can't change these people by reacting to these people. We can change everything by operating right amongst ourselves and not rendering evil for evil. And then what, like I'm saying, the kingdom of heaven is within us. All what we do will emanate from the outside of us. That's a king, that's a priest, that's a queen. Anything else, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Thou shalt not hate thine brother in thine heart.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Listen to that. Read that again.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
You can't avenge or bear a grudge. That means, well, because you did this, I'm going to do that. That's rendering evil for evil. Read.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
I am the Lord. Now I'm reading Christ in the law. How do we become the royal priesthood? By not just following the law, but living the law. But living the law. Right? Happy Purim. Any questions? I can open it up for the brothers first, and then we can open it up for the sisters, and then after that, festivities. Let's be a royal priesthood. And brothers and sisters, let's change Manchester, let's change Sheffield, let's change London before we're up out of here. With our operation one amongst another. I just gave some examples of what the Most High was bringing on my way here and saying, listen, if y'all had a chance to be judges, what would be the start that will allow our people to have peace and learn the scriptures and eventually come close to the Most High and fulfill their purpose within this work? What environment would you set? And I just started typing and writing, which is embodied within the 10 Commandments. Let's read that. That's what I wanted to read. Exodus 20.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 1.
And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there who say, well, we can't come together and why can't we come together outside of this Bible? Think about it. The Bible gives the answers on how we can operate one with another. You don't want to deal with the Bible because you know there's something the Bible is pointing out that's wrong. But yet you're saying you want to come together on some black stuff. But yet if you don't follow these laws, my children are in danger concerning you. You may like to do something in my house that the Most High don't want in my house. Okay? So we have to agree on what? A constitution first.
Right.
So many people claim, listen, I don't want to deal with that law. That's a white man's book. I'm like, listen. And I asked this guy who said that. You show me one thing in this Bible that you say is a white man's book. You show me one thing in this Bible that the white man wrote in this Bible that have enslaved us. Okay? One thing. First of all, think about it. I'm not talking about all white people, but hey, if I'm an evil white man over society and I got a chance to write this book, first of all, the first thing I would have took out is slave ships. I'd be like, listen, I witnessed slave ships. Here like wool, they would have been out of here. So the only reason these guys are saying that it's this or that is because, not because of they think it's a white man. They haven't read the book to know that it's a black book. Okay? That's an ignorant response. The reason why they don't want to follow that Bible for real is because they're lawless. They can do what they want without anyone calling them on it. Why? Because there's no constitution they must follow outside of them being black. But now, if we both agree with these laws, we must what? We must operate in a certain level of spiritual civility one amongst another. And what? You got to change. And on top of that, if you do something wrong, we both have a law on how to deal with it. Right? That's why people don't want to follow the Bible or say, because why? The Bible holds you accountable to the law you read and understand. Now your conscience bears witness. These are not just words. The Bible is spirit. You can read this Bible and it will change your mind. It will change your heart. A regular book can't do that. So you can't tell me this book is not the word of the Most High. Okay? We all remember what we were before we actually begin to read it. The only people that don't want to follow or deal with the Bible is the devil. And I hear people, he's the devil, this man's the devil, he's not the devil. Let me tell you, whoever don't want to follow this Bible is the devil. Okay, that's who the devil is. Right? What you have, Brother Lawyer? Let's read.
Book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 1.
Come on.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay, that means when we come together, now just imagine. Now you see what I just started thinking about on the way here. I'm just giving you the thoughts. This is what the Most High said though. So if we come together, all together, we're not going to be having all these gods. We have one God and one understanding and law concerning him. Some people want to say, well, why can't everyone come together under being Israelite? a lot of us are serving separate gods. Some don't believe in Christ. Some don't believe this, some don't believe that. But the Most High says what?
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
One God. Read.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
That's idolatry. Right there, that exiled all Muslims and all Catholics. Because they worship idols. Right? Read.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
And see, here's the selfishness of breaking the Most High's law. We think that what we do is only affecting us. When we sin, the sin falls on our children. And now they have to suffer our ignorant and sinful selfishness. We're the generation that breaks the curse. We're going to break the curse. Okay? We're not going to bow to none of these religions. We're not going to eat their food. We're not going to operate with their gods. And our children will not know what Christmas is. Okay? Will not know what paganism is. Without what? Frowning upon it. Be like, yeah, what about Christmas? Everybody talking about, yeah, the child talking about, yeah, Santa coming down the chimney, yeah. And your child look at it and say, well, you know the Pope sacrificed children at midnight. When you say Santa's coming down the chimney, the fire, they're drinking children's blood. Totally, I mean, that gives preacher a whole new name. Our children are going to be straight with them. No, this child sacrifice. It's all about the children because the Pope is drinking blood that night. Right? They sacrificing children that night. It's hideous. It's almost, I don't know how we can laugh through it, but I'm just showing you an example. Our children will know what it's about. Come on.
Verse 6. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Come on.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Go on.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. That's the Sabbath. What they call so-called Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Right? That's the holy day of the Most High. I hear pagans everywhere claiming that the Sabbath is done away with. But yet, they deal with the Sabbath every Sunday by resting on the first day of the week. And the Muslims deal with their holy day from Friday morning to Friday sundown. So if it's done away with, what are y'all doing? Should I choose that? Obviously, observance of a day is important according to your religion. So how can you say my day is done away with that the Most High gave me? Unless you're saying I'm done away with too. Come on.
Verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day.
Come on.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother.
Honor thy father and thy mother. Let me tell you, we're definitely in the end. I've never seen so much disrespect of father and mother in my life. If only they get the respect for bringing you here, bearing you. I see so many people claim that they're dysfunction based on what their father did or their mother did, and air it out all before everybody, and not hide in none of their family shame. As if you want to be the perfect parent. As if you're not going to have shortcomings in your life and struggles and obstacles when you are a parent. Suppose every obstacle you had, your child grew up and say you wasn't good enough. Honor your father and your mother. You're not no wounded puppy. They want everyone to feel like a victim. You must grow up and realize, okay, my mother and father is not perfect, but without them, there would be no me. I forgive you, Mom. I forgive you, Dad. I love you. You can rest when you rest in your time to go. Know that we're going to have peace. I'm not going to harbor nothing with my mother or father. I don't know how long my parents will be with me. My father is gone. And I'm glad I had an opportunity to let them know how much I appreciated it. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And suppose they go without the opportunity to know that everything was healed, everything was good. This is an unappreciative, disrespectful, evil, and wicked generation that don't even honor the mother and father. And the greatest honor that a son or daughter can give their father and mother is if you're a man, you honor your father by being a man and you bring forth his seed. If you're a woman, you honor your mother by being a mother and marrying and honor and bringing forth children. The biggest disrespect to father and mother is the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah. They're the ones teaching us through psychology and media. They're the ones teaching us to revolt against our parents, making us believe our life wasn't good enough. Because why? They have a problem with authority in the image of the Most High God. The whole world is being ran by the psychology of sodomites. We have to break free and be men and women and honor our father and our mother. Well, I'm not speaking to him. Or I'm not speaking. Are you crazy? How can you not speak to your mother or your father? And think the Father in heaven is honoring you and respecting you. I've heard people say that. I wish my son was, man, I'm not talking to you. And listen, okay, I know I'll talk to you when you wake up, buddy. We have to honor our father and mother. That's the example of the Most High given us. That's him. Him emanating through your father and mother. That's your position of authority. That's how you learn authority. The Most High gave you himself through your father and mother to teach you of what a father is. Your mother nurtured you and cared for you. So that's another thing that wasn't on my list today. The disrespecting of parents will not be tolerated. And there will be no father trying to turn the children against the mother, or the mother looking to turn the children because they didn't have a spat. Either way. There will be honor with the father and mother at all times. Man, what a righteous place to be. Where there's respect. Come on, Elder Rawchaa.
Yes, sir. This is verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Come on.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Now we're about to break it down. we're going to go through the next one, but it's like this, right? Read that last piece again, the ones you missed when it talks about adultery.
Thou shalt, verse 14 or verse 13. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
When it says thou shalt not commit adultery, the New Testament says, let every husband have his own wife and his own wife have her own husband. Okay? Adultery is when you go outside of your relationship. Okay? That's what adultery is. Straight out. A man cannot have multiple women. Okay? That's adultery and it's whoremongering. We as men can't even afford ourselves, let alone taking on that issue, that error that confuse and destroy our children. Now that ain't my opinion. I know people look and say, in the Old Testament, it happened. Yeah, it happened in the Old Testament. Why? Hey, Cain and Abel and Seth, they had to sleep with their sisters. That happened in the Old Testament. But when it was no longer needed after the multiplication, the multiplying of nations, it was unlawful for that to happen. Now that Israel is and all the nations have multiplied, and we're as the saying of the sea, there's no need for you to add to the multiplying and claiming that I'm doing my part to bring forth Israel. No, it don't work that way. Israel is here now. And people don't know the difference between adultery, a marriage, and whoremongering anymore. If people can have as many women as they want, then what is whoremongering? What is marriage? Marriage is an agreement between two families. It ain't no, I like her, and we laid down together, and we made a mistake, we really care about each other, so by default we married. That's the Israelite marriages I'm hearing out there. No, that's not a marriage. That's whoremongering. That's sin. Marriage is a total respect of the family. You're not marrying her alone. You're marrying her family. So you respect the father and say, listen, I'm interested in your daughter. And I will love her. I'll continue in your love for her as a daughter. And I will love her as a husband. And then the father say, well, listen. His sister young man down and say, well, I'll tell you what. This is what it's going to take. Okay? And if you don't follow what I'm dropping, I'm going to be on you like white on rice, buddy. Straight out. That's how it used to be. Okay? I remember, growing up, my father come straight to the door. He was from down south. Every time somebody that wasn't in my family knocked on the door, he was sitting there with a gun. Especially when the sisters start forming out or growing up or whatever the case is. Like, listen, no, you want to have a responsibility, because if my daughter start crying and start dealing with you, listen, I'm going to take care of business. That's the way it's supposed to be. That daughter have to know that she's going to be protected, because wow, right now her feelings are just in it and she's just in love. Right? So she's just feeling, it could be infatuation, whatever the case is. The father solidifies the whole deal and say, this is what you're going to bring me for my daughter. You're going to respect my daughter. Okay? And then we're going to talk about bringing our family together, and you better not touch her until we deal with this agreement. That was the law of the Most High. That's how families stayed together. Right? All right. So I wanted to go into that and talk about it. And this is how we're going to institute it amongst the body and the church. And I know in certain areas, like in London, there's really a lot of more sisters than brothers. I understand that. But if we do the work that's about to get done, there's going to be enough brothers up in here very soon. Everyone be patient. Okay? Any questions before we feast? Here's your opportunity. The mic is here. You can stand up, raise your hand, and we'll give you the microphone. Starting with the men. No questions? Oh man, maybe the Most High answered a lot of questions tonight, huh? Praise the Most High. All right, let's go to the sister side. Any questions? Man, praise the Most High. No questions. That have to be the first of first. All right, you have anything to say? Or you good?
I'm good.
What about you, Elder Lawya? You good? All right, let's eat, and we'll talk. Bless you. What's that? Hold on 1 second, 1 second. What, y'all got to go prepare the food? Okay, the sisters that got to prepare the food, go do that real quick. And you can tell the order of how things are going to be, right?
Yeah, what's that?
What lesson I said we should read from last night?
No, you say it.
Okay, last night me and Elder Rawchaa was up for a couple of hours talking, and I said to him, what was on my mind was that me and you sit down and we'll do a lesson on the government of Israel.
Right.
I kid you not, Elder. Me and Elder Rawchaa said, I said, listen, we need to make a lesson on government. Isaiah 9 and 6 on down tells you Christ is bringing a government. And we should make, I would say, we're going to make a lesson on it. It blew my mind just then, just hearing you come sit down and saying that right now.
And I haven't spoke to him at all.
We haven't said a word. Sorry?
Just never seen you.
Yeah. Last night, then Elder Rawchaa was up at
Can you make sure that you remain quiet when the elders are speaking, please? Make sure that you remain quiet. No separate conversations when the elders are speaking. Thank you.
Well, so that we wanted to do a lesson this coming Sabbath on the government of Israel. How we're going to run a government structure amongst ourselves. Because we are coming into a time where we're going to have to self-govern anyways. Everything is shutting down. And if we make our own communities, there has to be rules and laws that we have to go abide by within them communities. And anybody who can't live by that, I forget the hell out of that. Quick. Because that way, you breaking these rules is going to endanger not just yourself, but everybody around us. So we have to have rules and laws that are going to govern us. You with me? There will be no sexual predators anywhere amongst us. We're not tolerating it. But this was like the ideas that we were going into last night. Where, you know, I was saying that you have to have a government. I said to Elder Rawchaa, listen, you know, it'd be good if maybe you just sit down and make a lesson on it for this coming Sabbath. I said it to him, government within us. And then to hear the elders come bring it out like that, boy, you with me? So it's something going on. You understand that we have to look and pay attention into, you understand? Self-governing. We have to be able to govern ourselves. Royal priesthood. You with me? We have to take our minds first out of the state of poverty. We have to come out of that mental state of poverty. You with me? So our actions, we're not thinking and living like peasants, we're kings. Ecclesiastes 10 verse 5 tells you that there is a horrible thing in the land, that the kings are in low places and the peasants are on the horses. You with me? So that's what's going on right now. We have to come out of that mindset and our operation. We can't settle no more for mediocrity. You understand? For those people who come up in England, right? England is a place of mediocrity. England rewards mediocrity. You understand? They don't teach the children to compete to be the best. Alright? The old school people that may coming from out of Jamaica and parts of the Caribbean and all that, we grew up where there was toilets that wasn't indoor toilets, outdoor, we call them latrine. Right? And we can remember our outdoor toilet pristine, clean, you don't smell nothing around there. And the house shine, the floor of the house shine and clean. If you don't walk good, you trip and bust up. You understand? Well shine. And I'm saying that because, check it out, there's something about us anyways instilling us to be clean. When we come out and we put on our gowns have to look good. You understand? When I come from Primary, I come from the high street, it has to look good. We're not in, you understand me? With style, with flavor, anywhere we go on the earth, people look at us. And that's the spirit of the kings with us. You with me? So it is there. I think it just needs to be highlighted and highlighted for the right reasons. You with me? There's a nature, there's an element about us anyways when it comes to that royalty. You with me? If we go somewhere and it's unclean, we don't want to eat there. Pass a restaurant and we see a cockroach. That's it. We're walking out. Never to return. You understand me? Royal priesthood. We already have it in us. It's there. It's built in. This is not new. You know. This is not new that you have to go and start digging deep. It's already there. We are like that instinctively. Some of us, you know the drill. We in cold England, but we have to bathe 2-3 times a day. Morning and evening we have to bathe. I come here some stories that when we came to when our foreparents came here, right? They used to put up signs say, yo, you only can bathe once a day. And we're like, yo, no, we're not that. Yeah, serious. Once a week, sorry, that was signs.
Once a week now.
Once a week. Now, yeah, we must, they don't want to rent the apartments to Jamaicans because Jamaicans use too much water. I hear them stories here. You with me? So there's a thing within us anyways. That's royal anyways, the way we dress. I mean, look at this evening right now. Hey, just look around. Everybody just take a time and just look around you. Just have a look at... Hey, yeah, let's have a look at who sat beside you. And how you look. Look at the gowns you're wearing. You with me? It's a Wednesday evening. And we're looking sharp. You understand? It's that royal priest within us. We have it already there. So we have to stop letting know this world. And I want man up Twitter, I've fallen victim of it. A little bit more. Where me thinking that, doing certain things is not, trying to feel guilty. And that's part of the mental captivity. And no more it will happen. We are not gonna settle. We are not no longer as a body gonna settle for mediocrity. We are no longer gonna settle for less than what we deserve. You understand me? Anything below royalty is captivity. That's gonna be the new mantra right now. Less than royalty is captivity. That's the new mantra we're gonna have right now as a church. I want to get a banner with it made up, and every congregation should have it. Less than royalty is captivity. Yeah. So we're going to come out of that mindset because we are ready. Listen, let me tell you, we already have it in us. Yeah? Happy Purim.
Okay, of course we have our festivities today. This evening. I see a blessed congregation, and we're going to come together more often and finish some work. We're going to do some work here. Okay, anything you would like to do in the work, any gifts, you'll be able to execute them within the body. Okay? You want to make some announcements? Because we have some music and all that, so we're going to turn it over to the music side very soon. Your food is getting ready, so Doc, if you would like, you can make the announcements on how we're going to deal with the food.
Everybody remain seated exactly where you are. A lot of the seats that are facing this way, you can turn the seats round to have complete tables. The food will be brought round to everybody, as you've seen the sisters doing at the moment. Also want to take the opportunity to give a massive thank you to the elders who've flown all the way from the United States to be with us all. And I've been in this truth for nearly 10 years now. I can't tell you how much we all appreciate you, Elder. And it's hard work. Trust me, it's very hard work. And if they didn't love us, or if they didn't love us, they wouldn't be here. There's nobody making them come here to do this, you know. And it can be difficult. So that appreciation, we just wanted to just put that out there. And
Again, all praise be to the Most High.
All right. Just remain seated. It's table by table. Thank you.
Okay. While the food is getting ready and prepared, it is open because we do have a little time while the food is getting prepared. So if y'all do have any questions, I know y'all said y'all didn't, which is good. Maybe we'll talk more so one-on-one. But it is a good night, good time. And please give the sisters a round of applause for this preparation. Excellent spread, and it's very welcome. Boy, y'all wearing those garments, boy, I'll tell you that. Food is flowing.
Y'all table first now, just if you want to join.
Yeah.
So you want to put something more? Hey Nate, you want to put something more? Okay, let me switch it up. It's good.
Everybody to remain seated. Brothers and sisters, can I ask you kindly just to remain seated, because there'll be more confusion if we all just get up and start walking places. The food is on its way out now. Please remain seated so the sisters can get to the food to everybody. We also need to bless the food as well. Okay? There'll be time to do all the greetings and everything a bit later on, please. Just remain seated, please. Thank you for everybody who's sitting down already. Alright?
We're going to say a happy Purim to you, brothers and sisters. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer and pray out. Give the Most High a strong, powerful prayer. And we have a lot of work to do from this Passover to the next. So we're hoping to see the next time we come here, brothers and sisters, that work bringing forth His kingdom before we exodus. Before we say the Lord's Prayer, I want to give it out to the Most High. Let the heavens hear a hearty Kwam Yasha Allah. Kwam Yasha Allah. Kwam Yasha Allah. Rise the Most High's kingdom, the children of Israel. Shalom. Come on. And of course, we'll have to end with the Lord's Prayer, giving us full power and prayer. Come on, Elder Lawya, lead us in the Lord's Prayer, please.
Yes, sir. We praise the east.
Well, I know which way the east is, guys. I have a compass now. Don't worry about it. I got it. Right here. I got it right there. Look at that. There you go, man. The sister gave me a compass. She must have seen us on the video saying, okay, which way is the east?
You ready?
Yes, sir. Ahaya. Bahasham. Yeshaya. Our Father. Which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. Amen.
Praise the Most High. Thank you. Who's this? The sisters are looking to publish this as a Hebrew children's book. The sister church. Yeah, the sisters Claire, Pagan, and the sister Kirsten.
Shalom.
Sister Claire, my wife. Sister Kirsten and Kaden.
Sister Claire, Sister Kristen,
Yeah, Kaden.
and Sister Katie have published a children's book. Friday, our preparation day.
Wow.
Give it up to the Most High. This is book one. And what we're going to do is we're going to publish this book, have it online to the gatheringofchristchurch.org, where brothers and sisters can teach their children strictly out of the book that brothers and sisters have put together to prepare our children for the kingdom to come. Give it up to the Most High for that. Look at this. I'm going to tell you, the Most High been waiting for a long time for us to realize our power and our contribution to His kingdom. You know, the time is here. We're not just going to wait for the kingdom, brothers and sisters. The gathering of Christ Church to the Spirit of Ahaya by Hashem Yeshaya Elder Rawchaa is going to bring the kingdom. Shalom. Worship.
Praise the Most High. That's Benjamin. They tear the whole house down. Thank you, sister. Thank you. Man, there ain't no gouge you can get down like that either. I tell you. Shalom, brothers and sisters. We'll see you in Babylon in a few days. Shalom.